I remember the day I first gripped those rusty keys like they were a ticket to freedom. I'm Alex Harper, a freelance documentary filmmaker who spent years chasing stories in the wildest corners of the world. Back in the summer of 2022, I snagged this forgotten lakeside cabin in the dense forests of upstate New York. It had sat empty for 4 years after a nasty family feud over the deed, and I figured it was my perfect escape from the city's relentless grind. 2 rugged acres hugged by ancient oaks, with a wraparound porch overlooking the misty lake, ideal for turning the sunroom into my editing lair, where I could piece together my next film on rural survivalists without a single distraction. I'd barely shaken off the musty scent inside when I set up my high-tech security cams, angling them to catch every inch of the overgrown path leading from the county road. Old habits from filming in sketchy spots die hard. You learn quick that vigilance beats regret. The place needed serious Lovecraft foundation, outdated wiring, leaky pipes, but its sturdy frame promised redemption. As dusk painted the lake in fiery hues, a sleek SUV rolled up, its tires crunching gravel as it wedged right against my fence, headlights blasting my lenses into useless glare. Smart move. I thought someone knew how to play dirty with surveillance. Out stepped Evelyn Brooks, badge gleaming on her tailored jacket, Lakeside Association compliance director. She strode up with a clipboard and that polished grin bureaucrats flash when they're about to twist your arm. "You must be the new owner," she said, handshake like a vice. "I'm here about our Regional Alliance initiative. Your property's been flagged for the Empathy Homestead Project, a state-backed effort to house at-risk seniors amid the housing crunch." She flashed her phone, a QR code linking to a slick form plastered with agency seals and jargon that screamed official. Her parents, she claimed, were in dire straits, failing health. No options, and the neighbors had greenlit it via some silent approval system. You wouldn't turn your back on the vulnerable, would you? It's practically a moral mandate. The words landed like a gut punch, framing me as the monster if I balked. She even left a care package by the gate, blankets peeking out like bait. I scanned the code, kept my cool, and fired up my pro camera to record it all: the plate, the badge, the whole setup, before saying I'd verify it first. Her smile cracked just a flicker as she drove off, dust swirling in the fading light, muttering about a 24-hour consent window. That night, doubt gnawed at me like the forest critters outside. What if this was real? I'd be the heartless outsider torching my rep in a viral storm. But something reeked too rehearsed, too urgent. Drawing on my investigative chops, I dove in at dawn, forwarded the form to the township clerk. They huddled, then called back, fake Gmail domain, slapped together 3 weeks ago. Edits timestamped at odd hours. No legit gov file carries a draft bully final v3 label. I dialed every level: town hall, state emergency ops, even feds. Zilch. No such project. The ranger outpost drew a blank too. HOA powers. Strictly cosmetic paint colors. Dues. Not seizing land via phantom laws. This was impersonation, a federal felony. I looped in Sheriff Tom Riley, who took notes with a sharpening edge. "This smells like organized fraud," he said, filing my report and kicking off probes. But Evelyn wasn't done. Overnight, a glossy banner slapped across my fence: State Empathy Zone. My cams caught the intruder 2A. Flashlight bobbing, gloves smeared in emerald green with silver flecks. Then lumber piled hazardously by my power box. A setup screaming fire risk. A tip: summoned the fire crew before I could blink. Inspectorite it. This ain't accidental, pure sabotage for code violations and insurance hell. Footage nailed it: deliberate tampering to tank my policy. Expose me financially. More clips, surface stakes yanked. Markers shifted. Supplies rearranged for infractions. Riley arrived. Bagging paint samples. Felony territory now. We're talking harassment with teeth. She pivoted hard next visit. Flanked by a vest-wearing crony clutching stamped folders. Association overrides drain regs for elder access in crises. She barked. I put the county on speaker. Laura Thompson. Drainage vet. Shredded it. HOA's got zero sway over water rights. That's county ironclad. Footage exposed the path's perils winter floods, turning it lethal with ice and currents. Not care. Control. Then my agent, Mike Sullivan, called shaky. Virtual tour glitch. Old code 4782 mirrored in a cabinet shot. Network logs. Pierce Android, logging in repeatedly while I was out. Drawers rifled. Layouts mapped. Felony break-ins for intel. Fueling the scam. Fake crises to justify access. All to hijack my haven. Rage boiled. But I channeled it smart. Turned the Lakeside Trail board into a truth bomb. Timelines. Photos. Official denials. Folks stopped. Jaws dropping. Hikers. Neighbors spilled. Same pitch. Forged badges. Volunteer gigs spying on properties under gov orders. Recruited with ego strokes. They gathered dirt schedules. Weaknesses thinking it noble. We linked up securely. Piecing a web of deceit spanning the woods. Betrayal stung. Good intentions weaponized for crime. The showdown hit at the board on a crisp fall morn. 12 dozen locals. Duped helpers. Riley. Laura. Stories poured, coerced access. Guilt-tripped placements. All bogus. Then Evelyn's folks shuffled in. Bewildered elders. We never asked for this. Dad thundered. No programs. No placements. She used our names without a whisper. Twist, elder exploitation. Another charge. The association booted her on the spot. Pledging full cop coup. Isolation hit her like a storm glares. Whispers. Pure venom in her eyes as votes sealed prosecution. Evidence piled. Forensics. Logs. Testimonies. Feds nabbed impersonation and wire fraud, 20-year max. State hit trespass. Stalking. County false reports draining resources. Convictions slammed down guilty across boards. Prison time stacking. Restitution covering my upgrades. Delays. Fees. Reforms swept in, verification mandates. Fraud workshops. My Reno roared back. Cams vigilant. Community watchful. In the end, the cabin stands resilient by the lake. Boundaries firm. Trust mended through grit. Truth demands fight, but it triumphs when you stand unyielding. What if this happened to you? Would you cave to the guilt trip or dig in? Risking the backlash. Is HOA power out of control? Or do we need more oversight to stop these cons? Drop your take below. Smash that like if it fired you up. And subscribe for more real-life twists that expose the shadows.